Deciding to get divorced can be a heart-wrenching process, but especially when there are kids involved. Keeping the process amicable can be in everyone's best interest. Here with some tips to make divorce less painful is Gabrielle Hartley, author of Better Apart. Welcome, Gabrielle.
Thank you so much for having me here.
So amicable divorce sounds like an oxymoron, but I bet it's really good for the kids.
Yeah, it's actually good whether or not you have kids. I've been a divorce attorney and mediator for nearly 25 years, and I can tell you that there are a lot of times where you may be drawn into a swirl of emotion and arguments, but the more that you can keep your emotional brain down and your thinking brain engaged, the better outcome there's going to be for you and for your children. And when there are children involved, it's even more important that you keep in mind what your needs are and what your kids' needs are, and realize that there's never a one-size-fits-all solution.
How do people manage their emotions and frustrations during this difficult process?
Well, the first thing is, you're answering your own question, is like you need to know to manage them. I think oftentimes there's not that much emotional management happening. And you know, through the lens of patience, respect, clarity, peace, and forgiveness, which is what the project of Better Apart is about, there's a construct to manage your emotions. So I would suggest that before getting wrapped up into the argument, you take a step back and you ask yourself important questions. Who do you want to see when you look back on yourself and on your life in 5 years, in 10 years? How do you want your children to remember you? How do you want to look at what your relationship was? And then how are you going to easily move forward? And you can do that as a personal inquiry. You can do that with the help of a therapist. You can do that with a divorce coach and therapist. There's, just like with parenting, again, not a one-size-fits-all model. But the really important message is to know that divorce doesn't need to be an ending for your life. It can also be the launch pad and the springboard for the rest of your life in a way that's better for you. Because if things were so good, I'm sorry, you know, you probably wouldn't be staying married in the first place, right? The whole reason we're splitting is so that you can create something that is more favorable.
That's really nice. A new chapter for you and a new chapter for your ex-spouse, and now you are together having a new form of a relationship even though you're not married anymore. What about finances? How can couples, that's always a contentious part of divorce.
Yeah, well, it can be very contentious. I mean, the most important thing, the most important piece of advice that I can give is that you really need to take stock of your assets, your debts, your income, and your expenses. So get yourself organized first, and then when you know what you have and what you need, you can start making good decisions. And also when you're choosing how you're going to approach your divorce, whether you're going to go with the collaborative divorce model or with mediation or with a lawyer, it's really good to have a holistic view of all of your finances so that when you start making decisions, you're doing so with full information.
Thank you, Gabrielle, for joining me today. That was great information for those couples who are encountering a divorce.